Hey friends, it's Marie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm sharing this Spellbinders small die kit with you. I've got two card photos here. One's a fall themed card and one's a Christmas themed card. And you can kind of change up this kit to suit the different seasons that you're crafting for, or just make some general cards. So here are the dies. I'm laying them out for you. I've got these two half frame dies with the different foliage around there, and then you get a few of these little sentiment pieces. You have thank, and then you have some letters that you can spell hello, or you can put hey, or you can spell you. So you can just rearrange those letters to spell different words for your cards. You also get some of these little flower dies here that you can piece together and add to your frame. You can see on that one frame there, you can add these flower pieces to those little foliage pieces that are kind of sticking out. I just decided to kind of cluster them here and there on this fall themed card. I did some stamping behind that frame that I cut out in gold, and then I layered on some fall colored flowers on top, added a few sequins, and I finished my card that way. I'm going to be doing a Christmas card for my video today, so I'm mainly going to be using this die right here. It looked kind of Christmassy to me. I've already got one cut out so you can see how this frame looks when it's assembled. I'm also going to show you how to cut and assemble this frame. So I'm going to add my frame here to my paper. I'm using some green paper. I want this to look like a green Christmas wreath. I'm just going to go ahead and add this to the side of my paper and tape it down, run it through my die cutting machine, and you can cut several of these half frames if you want. So I did put it on the edge of my paper to save space, but then I realized I wanted to show you cut out the whole frame and have a diamond shape. You're left with sort of a diamond shape. So I'm going to arrange my frame back onto my paper, line it up where it stopped to create this diamond frame. So like I mentioned, I'm lining these to this frame back up where that I already cut, and so that's going to cut out that complete middle section. Now I'm going to go ahead and on my card nestle this little foliage piece back into where I cut it out, so you can definitely do that. Or you can take that little diamond piece that came out of the middle, trim it off, and then you have a diamond that you can add to the middle of your frame or to your card, whatever you want to do. You can see here I've just trimmed off those sides, and I have a nice little diamond that I can nestle into that frame and put my sentiment on top of. So like I mentioned, I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and assemble your little frame here. It's really easy. You just cut out two pieces with that die, and then you just kind of glue the edges together. And I just like to line up those leaves, those bottom leaves there, and kind of line them up together and then just glue them in place. Just hold them for a second, let your glue dry, and then you have one of these cute little diamond frames. So I've already made a few of these. I'm actually going to be using several on my card. And like I mentioned, you can cut a frame out of your paper and then take your little greenery piece and just kind of nestle it back in there. This frame that I cut out for my card is actually a little bit crooked. It's not straight on my card, but since I did cut my frame several times, I'm just going to kind of layer it on top of each other, and you're not even going to notice that it's not straight once I have this assembled. So I'm kind of just nestling my little frame pieces back into where I cut them out, and I'm layering my pieces on top here. Now I am making this into a Christmas shaker card, so before I go ahead and decorate the front, I am going to add a little piece of plastic behind my window. I just wanted to give you an idea of where I'm going with this frame here, but the plastic that I'm using is actually from some packaging. You can save the packaging from your stamps or paper and use that for a window. Otherwise, I've used 12 by 12 page protectors too, and those work great, or a piece of acetate, any kind of clear plastic will work. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on the back of my cardstock. Make sure it's glued down and dried. I'm trimming off the edges so there's none peeking out of the sides. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue my frame down. Now this piece for my frame, like I showed you in the beginning, I cut the frame out of green paper, but this one I cut out of white paper, so I just used a little bit of distress ink to color it green. But I'm also going to layer on several of those other green frame pieces, so you're going to get lots of green for my frame here, and you're not going to really notice too much of a difference once everything is layered on. I'm also going to be putting lots of embellishments on this, so if you ever make a mistake, you just put an embellishment over it and that kind of fixes that little problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that my frame is in place here, kind of pushing down, making sure that none of that glue squishes out too much. But if it does, you can always take a little wet wipe or stamp cleaner on a towel and kind of go ahead and clean that off. No big problem. So I'm getting my little frame in there, and you can see it's all pushed down, and you could leave it just like this if you wanted to, but since I mentioned that my little diamond is crooked, I wanted to go ahead and kind of balance it out by putting these other frames on top. And I'm just going to do that the same way I glued down my first one. Just add a little bit of glue, layer them on top of each other. So now my frame is all in place, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of gold splatters. I'm using this Midas Touch Shimmer pen from Tonic, and I'm just getting it going a little bit here on my craft mat, and then I'm flicking on some gold flecks with the cap here. I'm just taking my brush and just flicking it with the cap, and that's adding little gold speckles all around my green frame here. I always think when you make a Christmas card, you need to put a little bit of shine on it, a little bit of gold. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm also taking the brush right to my frame and adding some gold into some of those cracks and giving it a little bit more shine. So you're going to want to let that dry a little bit. If you get any of that Midas Touch Shimmer on the window, you can go ahead with a towel or a baby wipe and clean that off again. Or you can do the frame part first and then glue on your window. That would work too. But here is my frame now. I'm going to make this into a shaker card, so I'm going to be putting foam on the back, and you just want to go ahead and cut strips of that. But before I go ahead and do that, I'm going to cut out some flowers. So I'm using some of the flowers from the die kit. Going to cut it out with some of this bright red cardstock, and use these flowers to layer on all around that frame, because red and green are just some really great traditional Christmas colors, and that's really going to make this Christmas card pop. So I'm going to cut out a lot of these flowers several times, poke them out with my little tool in one, and then I'll arrange them around my frame and glue them down. You can go ahead and cut out as many flowers as you want. You can cut out all of the different styles of flowers that comes with this kit, and assemble them if you want to. I just wanted to use some of these little flowers here for my card today, and just kind of arrange them around my wreath. So I've tucked a few in behind my frame. I've glued some on top, and I'm going to put my window down on top of this piece of paper cardstock that I've stamped with sort of this checker design. And like I said, I'm putting some foam adhesive behind my card front so that I can turn it into a shaker card. Now you want to make sure that all of your edges are covered with foam so that when you put your little shaker bits, your little sequins in there, they're not going to fall out. So you're kind of building a wall with your foam adhesive to put all of your sequins into. And the way I like to fill my shaker cards is get all my foam in place, and then just pour a little bit of my sequins or whatever I'm putting in my shaker card on top of my window, and then put the paper, the background paper, on top of my foam. So you'll see what I'm doing here in a minute, just making sure all of my foam adhesive is in place. And I found in my little bling drawer some of this Christmas sequin mix. and I forget who it's from, but it's really cute. It's got a lot of different snowflakes and reds and greens, and I also put some Fun Stampers Journey Gold Friendship sequins in there to get a little bit more gold, making sure they're all in there right on top of the window. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel off that backing paper from my foam adhesive. And then once all of that backing paper is peeled off, I can put my background cardstock on top of my shaker window. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to try to get it lined up here. You can see that the back of my cardstock is something a project that I've scrapped and I'm using the other side. So don't go ahead and throw out your paper if you don't like what you're working on. If the other side is still clean, you can use it and nobody's gonna know what you messed up on the back. So go ahead and recycle that paper. So I've got my shaker window all put together. I'm gonna put my little sentiment on the front here. I'm actually going to go ahead and glue my sentiment right onto my window. There's enough space in that diamond area that you can put your sentiment in there. And even though I'm going to put my sentiment over my window, you're still going to see all of those little bits inside shaking around. Now, this is a Christmas themed card, but I'm adding a thank you to the front. I always like to have a few Christmas thank yous on hand that I can go ahead and send to someone who sends us a gift, or if someone invites us over to dinner or a party, I'll have a Christmas thank you ready to go. So that might be a good thing. You could go ahead and do some Christmas thank yous along with your Christmas cards, and you'll have them ready to use when the Christmas season comes upon us, which is going to be very soon here, I think. So now that I have my thank you on there, I'm just going to finish this card with a little bow on top here. I'm going to glue that down. I think I did also off camera glue a few more sequins around my frame just to give it some more sparkle. But that kind of finishes the card, and that is a look at the Spellbinders small die kit for the month of September. So if you haven't checked out the club kits from Spellbinders yet, go ahead and follow the links down in the description. I'll have those linked below. I'll also have a link to my blog post as well as all the supplies that I've used in today's video. So thanks for stopping by, everyone. If you haven't already, give this video a like, comment, share, subscribe, tap that bell for notifications, and just do all the things, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.